Hello, everyone. Julius Freeman here. Welcome to a supplemental video of Tales from a Struggling Indie Writer. I am the Struggling Indie Writer Extraordinaire, Julius Freeman. I recorded 3 videos talking about Vigilant Fury and how I came up with the idea and how I developed it and how Anthony Gambino came on and drew the book. And I felt that perhaps I kind of did you guys a little injustice by not having Mr. Anthony Gambino come in and give his side of the story as to how he felt about the project, how he felt about the story. So without further ado, please welcome Mr. Anthony Gambino. Hello, Anthony.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing?
Julius? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. You know, I'm excited about we're almost done, dude. This is crazy. It has been crazy.
Dude, I have like 1 or 2 clients lined up. They're not hard deadlines by any means, and we've been talking for a while and doing stuff like here and there, but they're like, are you done with the damn book yet? I'm like, oh man.
I hope that's a good thing and not a bad thing.
For them it's bad. I mean, I'm having a blast on the book, so
okay, it's bad for them because they want you full time. Is that what it is?
Yeah, and I'm telling them, I'm like, I'm not doing anything until I'm done with the book. What an experience this has been, huh?
It has been. Yeah, it's one of those things that a lot of readers, they don't know because they just get the final product. They just get the end product. That's all they get. You and I have been through the trenches trying to get this book done and to the hands of readers. And I felt the backstory here of our collaboration, even long after my bumbling, my bubbling idiocy of like handling. Oh yeah, it's just I could tell the story in 40 pages, no problem. But then finding out as I was writing the script, going, wait a second, wait a minute, I can't do this in 40. This will cheat the reader. This won't give the reader the satisfaction that I'm looking for as a storyteller. Because as you know, movies, TV shows, comics, novels, whatever, pacing is everything. And if your pacing is off, then the story you want to tell will fall apart. And I'm sure there's countless examples of that where you watch a movie or a TV show and you're like, this would have been good if they had just maybe cut 1 episode or if they extended 2-3 episodes. And so as I was writing the story, I was like, oh gosh, like I know I told Gambino 40, but so let's I want you to share your thoughts and your feelings and sentiments to how that happened. As I kept telling you this, did you feel like a dread in your pit of the stomach, like, oh God? Walk us through that.
Man.
Honestly, let's start with that. How did you feel about the story Vigilant Fury when you first heard it, when I first pitched it to you? What was your first thoughts about that?
Well, first of all, real quick, regarding the readers and the backers, like I just want to extend many, many thanks, not only if you back the project, but for your patience, because
yes,
as we'll get into in a minute here, like this has been a major learning experience, particularly for me professionally, because this is my first professional comic book project as an illustrator. But in the beginning, like when you first told me about the story, I was really excited. I knew I wanted to do it, but I was a little bit scared because to that point, I had only really drawn like fantasy art, and it was a lot of like outside visuals. And I knew this book was going to be a lot of, no pun intended, but like contained shots, mainly inside of containers on a ship. Yeah. So I was struggling with how to make that work. But I did some environment studies. I did a lot of research. Julie's provided me with a lot of research before we started. So I felt a little bit better as we were starting. I loved the story when Julie's pitched it to me. I thought it was thematically right up my alley, even though I had a little bit of work professionally, even though it was like my own stuff that I crowdfunded with the sketchbook and everything. I still struggled, and I still do struggle sometimes with the fundamentals, like with with my anatomy, with my perspective. I've gotten a lot better since the start of this project, and it took a lot of different iterations of the book to help with that. When Julius told me the book was going to be about 40 pages, I was like, okay, you know what? This is like my first project as a professional illustrator working with somebody else. 40 pages is more than average. Usually, like, issues are, as most people know, they're about 20 pages. And especially for beginners, like new artists, they tend to be brought on for, 5-10 pages. Maybe it's like a supplemental story in an issue or something, like in an anniversary issue or something like that. Going straight to 40, that, could be a little bit daunting, but I'm excited to do like a full fleshed out story, something that has a beginning, a middle, and end. We won't leave people hanging. Like, I really like that idea. I like that it's contained. So let's go for it. And then I thought, we agreed on 2 pages a week because I had a full-time job still and, other life responsibilities as a husband and a homeowner. So I thought 2 pages a week was feasible. It was not feasible between, my struggling through the drawing, timing, just everything. I'm not trying to sit here and make excuses. It was a learning experience. I wasn't able to do it, or I should say I wasn't able to maintain a healthy lifestyle and do it. I would have had to like not sleep and, I did that in the past when I was going through school and grad school and working full time and going to grad school. And, I wanted to get better with my time management. The pages were taking way longer than expected. In the meantime, you decided to go from 40 to 80 pages. So that didn't help.
Yeah. Well, walk us through that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, but I have to say, reading the script, I don't know any version of the story that would have worked at 40 pages. Like, it would have been like over in a blink of an eye. And I think it would have been a huge disservice to try to keep it at that for the sake of, oh, I already told this guy 40 pages, so let me stick to 40 pages. I think you absolutely did the right thing with your instincts, where, it needs to be longer, so I'm going to make it longer for the sake of pacing and storytelling, which at the end of the day is what we are here to do, is to tell stories. And I think, there's definitely a trade-off with indie creators like ourselves and working for someone else, especially like the bigger corporations. They might need to be held to those restrictions where it needs to be this amount of pages.
Right.
And while there's definitely benefit to that, there's definitely a skill to that. I think if we're telling a one-shot story with a beginning, a middle, and end, it needs to be the amount of pages it needs to be, no matter how many pages it is. So on the one hand, I was really excited at the idea of having like a nice, thick graphic novel as my first project. I love that. Like, it makes me so happy. Also, I'll be honest, like on the practical side too, that was double the amount of pages I'm getting paid for now. So that was the benefit.
That wasn't the benefit. Yeah.
The only, not even one of many, the only downfall I foresaw was timing. And I was like, like I want to do 80 pages, but I don't know how I'm going to get this done. And, there was a while there where like I did maybe 1 or 2 pages a month. It was not working. I wasn't happy with the pages. And then out of frustration, I was on a stream. I think it was with Ben and Justin Soto. I was like, you know what? I need a break. Like, I'm getting burnt out. I'm just going to sketch something and I'm going to try ink wash. That felt really good. So I showed Julius, or I think you even saw the stream, and you messaged me on the side and you were like, I wish I saw some ink wash samples before we started the book. And I was like, hey, bro, I wish I saw some ink samples before we started. Like, I don't know. I never really tried it seriously. So we started shifting into black and white with ink wash, and that was good for a little bit too, but then it wasn't good. I wasn't happy with the pages. It ended up transitioning into no black at all, except from the line work, and it was all ink wash and black line work. And for whatever reason, that has felt the best so far. It has felt the best on a consistent basis. And I think you and I spoke about it privately, but I think it helped me because with focusing on the heavy blacks and the inks, I was focusing on, okay, what's going to be in shadow? What's going to be blacked out?
Right.
I wasn't focusing on the actual drawing. So taking away the black and focusing on the lines and the tones helped me, you know, defer back to the basics and the foundations where I was focusing more on the drawing. And like all the things,
night and day.
You know, night and day, man. And like, you know, obviously like my work's not perfect, but I don't know, like stuff just started clicking when I started working like this. The foundation, like the figure drawing was getting better. The perspective was getting way better.
Yeah.
And I've just been having so much fun. And then the other huge component to all this was I finally quit my day job. So just to give you guys an idea of like time framing, we crowdfunded the book. It ended last August, so just over a year ago. And at that time, I think I had 18 or 19 pages done. So from August of 2022 to March of 2023, was it August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March. In 7 months, we went from page 18 to 34. In 7 months. That's not a lot of pages. And wasn't acceptable. And at that pace, it would have been 3 more years before we got you this book. So partially because of that, and for other reasons, other career goals, I quit my job. And then I started doing the book full time in April. And from April to this past August, so April, May, June, July, August, in 4 months, I did the next 34 pages. So it's going way quicker now. And
much
now,
faster.
Yeah, now, and you know, we have 10 pages left. I do have to go back and re-ink the first batch of pages to make it look consistent, so we're not giving you like 3 different art styles.
Yeah.
But you know that.
But this is part of the. This is what makes comic book collaboration for me anyway. I always could speak for myself. This is what makes it unique amongst all the other forms of storytelling, be it movies, TV shows, whatever the case. You were figuring it out as you were going along. Not so much the story. It wasn't the story or your approach to the story that you were figuring out. It was your style. It was your approach to how to do it that was you're figuring out. In other words, what happened to you was the equivalent of like a father taking his 5-year-old son, throwing him into the pool and going, okay, now swim, paddle.
Yeah, man, you threw me in without the swimmies.
But here's the thing I will say about your approach or the main reason why out of all the artists who submitted their work to me on Twitter when I put out the word that I was looking for an artist, the reason why I chose you over the rest of them is because I could see you had a good storytelling eye with the artwork you showed me. And the style may not be to everyone's liking, but I didn't care because what was important to me was, okay, this guy can get facial expressions down good. He has good facial expressions, you know, that he draws. He has good camera angles. He has good, he has a great ability to, I like it. I'm talking about you like you're not here. You have a great ability to paint a picture of a setting. You know, your backgrounds and stuff were great. And that the thing about me as the kind of stories I want to tell, I want people to feel when they read my stories. I don't want them to just be like, wow, that's a cool page. No. I want, damn, man, that hit me hard. That scene hit me hard. That's what keeps readers coming back. And I'm hoping that you guys feel that way because I'm sensing it when I get Gambino's pages. A lot of heart and soul and passion went into this book. It's been a hell of a ride for sure. And the fact that
we're coming up on 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. You being burnt out, that's normal. Everyone gets burnt out on things that they work on, you know? It's normal. Yeah, it's a human nature thing. We just get burnt out and we have to find another angle to like, okay, I got to get excited again, you know, when I do this project. And I'm sure for you it was like, well, this fucking story is good, but I got to figure out another way to approach this story. And that's how I feel sometimes myself when I go like, am I even good? Like, am I even a good writer? Am I even writing a good story? But then I read the script again. I'm like, after like, weeks of not looking at it, and I go, yeah, actually, that's a pretty damn good story.
Yeah.
And it reinvigorates that passion, to keep on going. And that's the whole point. Not the whole point, but that's what makes making comic books so much fun for me, is that you find a way to keep going and get this out to people. I'm glad you stuck with it. You're like I told you privately in the past, you're one of the only artists that stuck with me till the very end, from beginning to the end. And in between, there's the few obstacles that get in the way that sometimes can lead to artists that I worked with in the past either leaving the project, or another person comes along and snatches them away from me because they're able to pay them double than what I'm paying them,
right?
which is sucky, but
yeah,
it's the nature of the game, Other than that, like, what was your thought process when I kept telling you, when the number kept rising from 40 to 50? Because it was a gradual rise. It wasn't so much, one day, here's 80. I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry, it's 50. How were you feeling? I want to know. So we could, before we wrap this up, I'm curious to know, what were your feeling, your thoughts, and be honest. Don't be afraid to be honest with me about it.
No, yeah, I'm not.
What were your thoughts about that? Where you're like, wait a minute, what, 50 now? Okay, all right, then.
I'm pretty sure, like, because at first you were like, I think it's gonna be like 40, maybe 50. Okay, then it was, it's probably gonna be 50. All right, no problem. And then you were like, bro, it's like 60. I'm like, okay. And I think at 60, I was like, I told my wife, I'm like, I think I'll be working on this book for a while. And then you were like, hey, it's like 70. And I'm like, whatever, man. Okay. And then we settled on 80, I guess. Honestly, like, again, the only thing I was concerned about was being able to, like, get it to people. Like, I didn't want this to drag on for years. One, because, like, I didn't want to make the people wait that long, and two, because, like, I did want to, do other projects, but it never crossed my mind to, like, back out.
Right.
Like,
okay.
I agreed to the project. I love the story. I've loved working with you. Like, we hit it off right away.
Yeah.
For me, it was, yeah, okay, this story might keep increasing, which means I'm going to work on it longer, but I could do something about it. Like, I could leave my job and really pursue this because it's what I want to do anyway. I'm just too afraid to do it at this point. But then I got to a point where I wasn't afraid anymore, and it's been going.
And then also, when you read the script, when I finally told you, hey, it looks like it's gonna be about 80.
Yeah.
I got about up to 80 pages where I feel like this is the right amount. And I gave you the script to read over, and I pretty much gave you the okay for the chopping block. You read this, and if you could cut out pages, go for it. So when you read the script, did you find yourself going, yeah, damn, we can't cut this?
I don't remember thinking we can cut anything. Maybe like a panel or two, not even like a full page. I remember, and I don't remember the specific pages, but I remember there were a couple, and we've already talked about it, where I was like, hey, this doesn't need to be 2 pages. It can actually be 1.
Right. Yeah. During the thumbnail process. Yeah.
And I think there were a couple that were vice versa, where I was like, this needs to be 2 pages, or else it's going to be like 10 panels on a page,
right?
All with something very different happening. Like, we need to split it up. But as far as cutting story, I don't think there was anything.
Okay.
But I don't think we cut like any pages or anything. I think the timing and the pacing was like perfect. Yeah, because I remember reading through it, and like I kind of like I picture myself going like this in my head, like as I'm reading, like okay. If I see myself going, okay, or I'm going okay. Yeah. But like, as long as it's a consistent good beat, and that's what I did when I was reading. I was like, okay, this happens, then this happens, then this happens, then this happens. Good. We have a few chapter breaks in there which help a little bit.
Yep, we do. Big fan of that. I deal with the Ghetto Dragon as well, but
I don't think there was anything that I was like, yeah, we need to cut this.
There you have it. Then I also love the fact that Anthony had this great aesthetic idea of making everything look like 80s action movies, specifically Alien, the first film of Alien. And once he mentioned that to me, I was like, that's it. That's right. It's a very claustrophobic. It's that Rorschach, moment in Watchmen where he tells the prisoners, "You're not locked in here. You're not locked in here with me. No, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me," or whatever the line was. I probably butchered it, but that was the that was the moment. I was like, yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. Like they quickly realized that she's not the prisoner. It's them. They're the prisoners. They're in trouble. She's the predator preying on them as opposed to the other way around. Like I told you guys in the first video I made, I wanted to write a story about a character who escapes their captivity because I've always liked those stories, and I wanted to challenge myself, see if I could write one that wasn't full of cliches. And thankfully, I found Anthony, who was ready to be plucked from the tree, the art tree of artistry, and even beyond Vigilant Fury. I see great things for you, Anthony, when it comes to telling stories, because I know you're cooking something up. Really curious to like read that and see like what your total creative choices will be.
Oh,
or without the because we filter out each other, right? I give you something, you give it back to me, and then we filter each other out. But now I want to see what your total creative control looks like.
That's gonna be a while.
Enjoy it. But it's cooking. I know it's cooking. It's cooking in there.
It's always marinating, man. That one's gonna be a while before I get to that. But
hopefully sooner than later, because I'm really curious to see it. Find out what you're cooking up in there.
Me too.
But with that said, guys, this is it. This is the end of the supplemental video. I hope you guys enjoyed Anthony's version of the story behind the creation and development of Vigilant Fury. He and I will definitely, I hope so, and I do hope that I'm a better writer this time around to not expand on the story. But I do. I do want to work with you more, Anthony, after this. And I hope it's in the capacity of not ballooning something like this again.
No.
This time I'm going to make sure, it's going to be this many pages and that's it. I got to make it work. Very last thing. Second chance. It's not only the second chance to get the book, but it's also a second chance to get commissions from Mr. Gambino, because his prices are extremely low. And I'm talking about low, to the point where it's like, are you sure you don't want to charge a little bit more the first time around when we launched the campaign? But this is the second chance for you guys to get a 9x12 commission piece from Mr. Gambino of anything you want. And also a second chance for sketch cards of whatever you want him to draw, but within reason, by the way. And also a second chance to get original pages from the comic book, which I mean, who wouldn't want original art pieces from the actual book? And because Mr. Gambino does everything traditional. There's no digital, and there's nothing wrong with digital. All right, so don't come at me, bro. Just the fact that he's able to do it by hand, it's like a great way to remind people how comics used to be done. So, but with this project, Mr. Gambino decided to go traditional, and it's coming out great. So you get a second chance to get to own some of these pages, especially now that they're ink wash. Look at that. Look at that beauty.
And you'll see in the updates and on the campaign, but the pages are going to have a little extra texture to them that I'm applying digitally, a little halftone effect, make it feel a little bit more old school. I love doing that stuff with all my work, so I think they're coming out really cool with the added texture, and you guys will see that very soon.
All right, awesome. Anything you want to say before we call it?
No, man. I mean, you and I can talk forever, so let's just wrap it up. But sincere thank you again to the backers and the readers, and anyone who has shared the project, is sharing the project, likes and retweets stuff. Like every little thing helps. So we really appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you again for joining me on this latest this supplemental video of tales from a struggling indie writer. If you like this kind of content, you want to see more of it, hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you think these videos are good or if you think they suck. It makes no difference to me. Just let me know what you think, because that's what's important to me. So with that said, guys, you guys have a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.